Welcome to California High Desert Preacher. Today's video is going to be discussing maps. Hi everybody, my name is James. I'll be your host for the remainder of this video as I have some very needed information that I'm going to shed some light on. And I want you to make sure and tell somebody about the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's very important that you like, share, and subscribe because this information could save a child from being molested. Hi everybody, my name's James. Welcome to California High Desert Preacher. Today's video is going to be discussing high school lessons. Calling pedophiles minor attracted persons leaves parents concerned. Maps, they're calling them. So basically, you already see the open clip where a school teacher is instructing children to call pedophiles, maps, minor attractive persons, as if to say that this type of behavior is acceptable, that it's normal, and that this is a normal sexual orientation. And we of the Truther movement and the Christian movement for years have warned everybody that this was coming, and people laughed, scoffed, and made fun of even the alphabet community, who claims to this day they have nothing to do with and want nothing to do with pedophilia, pedophiles, or North American Man-Boy Love Association. But in the last 2 years, all the evidence has come full circle. And it's been exposed, and I even have some videos on my channel showing that the alphabet community is coming after your children. They're trying to groom them and indoctrinate them. And I'll prove my point. And I will even show you evidence as to why this community in the last 3 years has exploded from being less than 3% to 5%. Let's jump right into it. Right here, Standing for Truth has all kinds of information on his website and his YouTube channel. Convicted pedophile released, no longer deemed a threat because he says now he's a woman. And on his channel, Dan Dukes will explain to you how the Canadian government has determined a man who's now identified as a woman who was previous a sexual predator is no longer a threat. Somebody explain that to me, whether it be psychological, social, or even criminal science, how that is possible. So the dichotomy that I'm trying to illustrate here is how this ideology of this community has really indoctrinated our youth of our nation and society as a whole, and our culture, and how it has made everything that's immoral and unbiblical okay. Now, earlier in the video I said I explained to you why and how the numbers have exploded. Oh, here you go. There are several camps out there who are offering trans-friendly or transgender-friendly summer camps. And parents are paying these people and sending their children off to these camps to be indoctrinated, to be brainwashed and influenced into this lifestyle. And this is just one avenue. I want to be able to state a claim and be able to support my claim in this video. And the reason why, as a whole, our culture and our nation has such a level of depravity, and why we're so morally bankrupt, and how we have now used common sense as hate speech, and following the science is actually a crime. And we've all been indoctrinated to a certain extent, even Christians, where culture has affected change inside of the body of Christ versus the body of Christ being able to affect change in culture. And there's a book out there that's written by an atheist or evolutionist, and the book is called The 4 Arguments Against the Elimination of Television. Even this evolutionist has written a book, and he declares that the government would use public television, now the internet, music television, and publications like magazines and organizations to influence the culture, and how they're able to sway the way people think and create so many social dynamics that people actually believe that they actually chose to make these decisions for themselves. But no, these actually have been created for you to accept. As an example, let's look at the Republican and Democrat Party. You only have two, and you have to choose between either one. And so you have a pile of poop over here, or you have a toilet full of poop over here. But either way it goes, the only two choices that you have in this dynamic is poop. And I don't agree with either side. I believe they both are serving a purpose to destroy, and they've been successful at that. The infrastructure, the social structure, and the spiritual structure and dynamic of our nation as a whole. All that being said, both sides are guilty and pushing this ideology right along with the state religion of evolution that teaches all young people and people of all ages that you're an animal, and because you are an animal, this right along with abortion is acceptable because you brought yourself down to the level of an animal. And what do animals do? They do all kinds of unbiblical and ungodly things like kill and eat their young. All that being said, the things that we need to keep at the forefront of our mind is that although they're engulfed and involved in this, and I'll give you an example. Last summer when we had Juneteenth or Pride Month, the alphabet community was going out into their communities and dragging young children in, and they called it dragging children to Pride. But yet they claim that they want nothing to do with NAMBLA. They want nothing to do with pedophiles or pornography that has to do with pedophilic behavior. But yet there are outreaches of their community that are doing just that. We have children that are now trans children, and they're going into gay bars and performing for gay men. But yet you guys claim you're not driven by pedophilic ideologies. This makes no sense to me at all. So basically, I'm calling a spade, and if a dog has spots, it has spots. But I do know this, and that is simply, if this had anything to do with any Christian or religious organization or any member of clergy, especially the Christian community that was involved in anything like this, that the rooftop would be blowing off all the houses, mainstream news would be blowing all their horns and sounding all the alarms and alerts, and it would be all over social media, and the government would be creating laws to prevent it from happening. But since this has to do with the establishment confirmed and financially supported government, LGBT community, this is all acceptable, and there's nothing to see here, folks. Keep moving on. And I want to say this, that right along with the abortion, right along with the alphabet community, right along with don't have any sex at all community, and all these different groups that the American population is, births have fallen exponentially in this nation. And they all have one purpose, and that is to bring down the population of not just this country, but all world globally to 500 million, like what was written on the Georgia Guidestones that were recently destroyed. Because this all has to do with the occultic Illuminati New World Order, one world government, to destroy the population of mankind as much as possible. Because Satan said back in the book of Genesis that, well, God cursed him. He said to the man and to the woman, you will work at the sweat of your brow to work the soil to bring forth food, and the woman would be in agony and pain in childbearing, and that the woman would chase her husband, and he would assert authority over her. These are the curses. And he said to the snake, They will bruise your head and you will bruise their heel. Satan is angry at God and he hates mankind because we were created in his likeness and his image, even though he was also a created being, right along with all the fallen angels. His number one job has been to deceive mankind that A, God is not real, he does not exist, and he's not trying to destroy all of humanity. But in fact, all those things are true. So I wanted to bring all this to your attention. There are now identifying pedophiles. Pedophiles is maps. And I also wanted to share this with you from our federal government. This goes back to January 31st of 2007. This is very important, from the Federal Bureau of Investigation of all. Yeah, I mean, you need... Do I need to say anything else? The symbols and logos are words used. Logos is a Greek term for word used by pedophiles to identify sexual preferences. They're U/F or FOUOs. This intelligent bulletin addresses crimes against children standing. Intelligent requirements sets contains in the QFBI 2200-005-06 HRWC CAC-VI.A.5. I have no idea what any of that means. Pedophiles to include those who sexually abuse children, as well as those who produce, distribute, and trade child pornography. And let me tell you something. The CIA, Homeland Security, and the FBI know where all these perpetrators are at and what they're doing, and they're doing nothing to stop any of it, right along with sexual trafficking of children. Anyways, the logos are symbols to recognize one another and distinguish their sexual preference. To specifically indicate the pedophile's gender preference, members of pedophilic organizations encourages the use of descriptions such as boy love, boy or girl love, child love. These symbols have been etched into rings and formed into pendants and have also been found and printed on coins. And there you are, ladies and gentlemen. U, the boy lover's logo or word. B, a logo, is a small blue spiral shaped triangle surrounded by a larger triangle, whereby the small triangle represents a small boy and the larger triangle represents the embodiment of a small spiral shape. Triangle within a large triangle. However, the corners of the LB logo are rounded to resemble a scribbling by a young child. Images of the B logo and LB logo symbols are depicted below. And I'm showing you this here. And I don't know if you remember back in 2016, where all over YouTube was this whole thing about, what did they call that? Pizzagate. And the federal government put a stop to it. And so did YouTube. They make rings and pendants. Anyways, I want to bring this to your attention. They're also going under a acronym called the Clover. What's it called? The Clover orientation. Now, the backstory to all this is that all this started on 4chan back in 2018. Maps and Clover gender was all created on 4chan to dupe the people and play a game on the government. Do you really believe that? And even if that's true, then why did these pedophilic organizations go ahead and adapt the symbols and these names as who and what they are to describe them and their preference of sexual behavior and their communities? And now especially MAPS and North American Man-Boy Love Association are really trying hard to get the alphabet community to accept them and their all that being said, before I go, I want to point how this is really ramping up right here, as you can see where my cursor is. Bloom Carol athletic director charged with sexual battery, released on bond. Right here, it says Columbus Alternative High School teacher charged with taking nude photos of minors. These are not isolated situations. These pedophiles and these people have a much larger group in the population of America, and this type of preference seems to be growing exponentially. So Columbus, Ohio, the Bloom Carroll local school athletic director facing sex charges is out on bond in Fairfield County. Chad Little, 45, was arrested Tuesday and charged with 2 counts of sexual battery involving a former student. More parents react to the Bloom Carroll AD charged with sexual battery involving former student. Little unlawfully engaged in sexual conduct with a student on or March 1st of 2018 to September 30th of 2020, according to a complaint filed in the Fairfield County Common Pleas Court. Why didn't we hear about this? Why wasn't this on mainstream news? Why wasn't this plastered all over Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube? I'm going to tell you why. Because when these cases come out, everybody in the establishment that is for this type of behavior in these communities have super deep pockets with lots of power and influences in government and high places. And this is kept at an all-time low. They don't want this to become a part of mainstream reality in America today. He appeared in court Wednesday morning and asked the judge to lower his bail to $350,000 bond in order for him to go home and support his 2 young children. He's got his own children. Who knows if he's molested any of them. Now, this was back in 2018, as recently as 2020. And so it's kind of an old story. But it just goes to show why I'm making this video and why I'm trying to bring light to this type of situation and share this information with you. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's go to this one. It looks like this one was posted Wednesday, September 21st of 2022. Columbus, Ohio court documents show a science teacher at Columbus Alternative High School was found to have more than 5,000 photos and 166 videos of child abuse material in his Google account. So Google knew about this. The question is, what did Google do about it? Did Google alert the FBI? Did they alert local law enforcement? My assumption would be no. Justin Foley is charged with illegal use of minors or impaired persons and nudity orientation material performance according to authorities. It's mind-blowing. Ralph Carter, a father, there he goes. It's a father again, a parent, somebody who has children, is involved in molesting children. My God, help us, Jesus, please. The community leader who works with teens said, this is not what we're supposed to deal with our kids going to school. Our students have to feel safe. It's one thing being in a neighborhood and you're walking around or worried about if you're going to be the next victim, but now being actually sexually disrespected, oh, that's an understatement, in your school by your own teacher. What they meant to say was sexually molested in your school by your own teacher. That's just not right. It gives me chills. This person, Nolan, a former Columbus City school student, said, it gives me chills all through my body because I have 2 younger brothers and I can't imagine like going through that whole process of finding out. She said her heart goes out to the students questioning their safety now. According to the court documents, the footage law enforcement found was of females of various ages. It was recorded in a public area in downtown Columbus in Delaware near Ohio Westland Isle University outside of Conger Elementary School and at a Columbus Alternative High School. Authorities said Foley admitted to producing the videos throughout the community. And while teaching at Columbus Alternative High School, they also said Foley admitted that he has been recording upskirts videos of students at Columbus Alternative High School for the past 7 years and recently as last week. The teachers are supposed to be there to protect and teach your kids, not harm them, not sexually exploit them in any way. But what do you think these public schools are doing throughout the United States of America when they're forcing all transgender and the alphabet community ideology on them? To me, there's no difference between a perpetrator sexually assaulting them and then teachers trying to indoctrinate them and groom them to become a part or a member of the alphabet community. There really is no difference because they're setting them up to become sexual victims and getting it set in their mind that this type of behavior is normal and acceptable for an adult to sexually assault a child. Getting children to be bi or gay or transgender curious. Prior to the indoctrination, they had no idea about it or didn't care or even think about it. But yet the alphabet community has deep, deep pockets that pay these school boards, these schools, and these teachers to do exactly that. To me, there is no difference here. This is why I'm making this video and why I'm putting this material on my channel. Because this is sickening. It is disgusting. And you're all going to stand before a theist, righteous, and holy, just God. You see, this is why society does not want to talk about God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or the God of the Bible, and why we don't want to discuss biblical principles, and why we don't want any of that mentioned in our government, in our public schools, or anywhere else in our society. Because it says that this is unacceptable behavior. This is a crime against children. And this is a crime against people of society. This is vulgar and vile and filthy. And this is wrong. And this is why government has done everything they can in public schools and public libraries and throughout public life to remove the God of the Bible and biblical principles away from anything that could be at the forefront of our minds. So we'll be more acceptable to being brainwashed and groomed and you accept this filth. Guys, leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe. I'm going to leave you here with that food for thought as to this community and what other communities out there that are supporting this on the down low and how it's taking hold in our society and now how they're trying to declare this is a sexual orientation and this should not be looked at as anything bad or wrong. Thanks for watching. My name's James and I'm out of here. If you guys live in the Victor Valley area and would like to join me in evangelizing the high desert, feel free to click on the link down in the description part of the video where you'll find my email address. Also, guys, let's not forget the Great Commission given in Scripture in Matthew 28:19-20, Mark 16:15, 1 Peter 3:15. God has called every believer to be a witness to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. Join me and let's take back the high desert from the pro-abortion, pro-atheist, and pro-evolution communities. Also, guys, I need prayer warriors. Please keep me and this ministry in prayer. Thank you and God bless.